What is up, my fellow golf ball addicts? Welcome back to the channel, and we are doing another heavily requested one. I have today for you the Titleist Pro V1x Left Dash versus the Callaway Tour Triple Diamond. Two golf balls that are really for advanced golfers and really fast swing speeds, but hey, we're going to try them out. We're going to see how they work for an average swing speed. Let's dive right in. Thank you so much, guys, for always helping out the channel. I appreciate all the liking, the commenting, the subscribing. It really helps the algorithm out a lot. And if you want to support this channel further, we have a membership, and it just starts at $1 a month, and that helps me provide even more content to you guys. Lately, we've been getting a lot of club reviews out. I got a vlog coming, so it's been nice. I appreciate all the support and love. I really do. All right, so when it comes to these two golf balls, like I said, these are not two I would normally want to test. They would not be high on my list. They would probably be at the end of the year, you know, but your guys' opinions matter, and I've gotten a lot of requests about them, and you guys want to know, does an average swinger work with them? Even though from what I've read, all the marketing I've seen, yeah, it doesn't look like they will, but you never know. You know what I mean? You never know nowadays. Golf balls change all the time, and so every golf ball is worth a test. That's what I always say. Now, I'm doing a double review here. I thought about doing a triple review, and I got a lot of great recommendations from you guys about which golf ball I should compare it to. But the problem is that there's a lot of them. You could do the Strixon Z-Star Diamond. You could do, you know, Bridgestone's X model. I mean, there's a lot of different golf balls that you could do and compare it to. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave that third spot open, and throughout the performance metrics later, I'm just going to change golf balls and show you some different variants. That way you can get a little bit of a variety. So we'll just kind of keep it fresh that way. Let's dive into price point here. You know, both of these golf balls are 4-piece models, obviously urethane. They are intended for a really fast swing speed to basically get the maximum amount of distance out of a golf ball that you can. The Titleist Pro V1 Left Dash X, you know, it's been around for a few years now, and the whole goal is to be lower, lower, lower spin and just basically have an extremely penetrating ball flight and go the distance. You know, it's usually #1 in the distance rankings when it comes to the robotic testing from My Golf Spy. So that's the whole design. Callaway, of course, trying to make different models, hasn't been real successful, so this is their answer to that, because Callaway keeps losing when it comes to head-to-head battles. So now Callaway has made a low-spin 4-piece model to kind of rival it. So these golf balls should be going head-to-head. I mean, it really makes sense, but the price point is where, you know, obviously no one's surprised, but $55 a dozen, that's the highest on the market you're going to see. However, when it comes to the Callaway Chrome Tour Triple Diamond, they actually have been running a special 2 for $95. Which that actually makes them below $50 a dozen, which I know still isn't a fantastic price for some of you addicts, but getting a AAA Tour ball, especially one of this quality, for under $50 a dozen actually does put it into a price range that actually has a little bit of value. You know, it's not great by any means, but it's actually pretty decent, you know, especially for these AAA Tour balls. I know a lot of you won't pay that, but it's not bad. It really isn't, especially only having to buy 2. Most of the time you have to buy 3 or 4, so I respect that. All right, when it comes to the design of the Titleist Pro V1x Left Dash, I thought it'd be easier just to come on here and show you. It has that great Titleist logo that we all know and love with the red #1, just like on the Pro V1x. However, when we come to the alignment tool, this is one of my least favorite options I've ever seen. I don't like the arrows. The letters are all different sizes. It's terrible to read. However, it does get a pass, because if I actually scroll down here to the bottom, it comes in 2 other different models, and both of them are different alignment aid options. This one right here, of course, being their aim enhanced. It's kind of like a triple track in a way. It's got a line on top and a line on bottom, and then of course the regular alignment tool. And then they also have another one that's just called the aim performance, which is just a line. It's just a nice thick black long line almost around the golf ball, which is really nice also. So at least they do have those options for guys like me. Now, getting into the Callaway Chrome Tour Triple Diamond, this is what the front of it looks like. It has Callaway's logo, and then of course it says Chrome Tour, and it has 3 little diamonds. It's kind of cool. I like the 3 little diamonds because it really distinguishes the golf ball, but it also looks really fancy. Obviously the triple diamond is just a marketing thing, but it actually does look good, and it makes it look more premium. They actually do have this in 2 models. They have it in the plain white. They also have it in this triple track, so that's kind of Callaway's signature thing they started doing a few years ago. It's on a lot of their putters, their Odyssey putters, things like that. So yeah, it looks good. At least it comes in 2 options. I like that. It has an alignment option, has a plain white option. Again, just like Titleist, feels good, feels premium. Both golf balls made in the good old US of A, baby. Awesome. You know, I don't know what else you could want. All right, let's get out to the chipping and putting green. Let's see how they do green side. I expect them to do pretty darn well. All right, left dash first. You know, I know these are low spin golf balls, but that's supposed to be off the driver. I still expect them to have some greenside checkups. Okay, wow, clicky, 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 clicky. Not a perfect strike. It did not have any rotation at all. Let's try it again. So here's the harsh truth, okay? That was a good strike. This one feels a lot heavier than either the Pro V1 or the Pro V1x did. This one also has a louder click for sure. This reminds me almost of what the old Pro V1x was like as far as sound, feel. Nice low spinner. Okay, so that's not bad. I mean, that's there. It's just, maybe my expectations are just a little too high. Okay, so I'm gonna try to take the bias out of there. I'm gonna pretend these are just 3 random golf balls, or a random golf ball that I don't know, and I'm gonna see what it does. I'm gonna try to eliminate all presumptions. Very low spinner. Okay, that's some decent checkup, yeah. Nice. Okay, okay, that was a nice solid pure strike. That had some decent checkup. I wanna run it back one more time. So one thing I do notice, it wants to come off really low. When you hit a solid pure one, you've noticed probably on the camera, but a lot of them are coming out really, really low. It's a little too low for me, but again, you know, this golf ball is just, I think it's for an advanced golfer, but let's run it back here.
Yeah, so long story short, guys, it doesn't have a ton of checkup. It's just kind of right in that medium, but there's a real lack of forgiveness. If you mishit it anywhere other than the exact center of the face, if it's not crispy, if it's not, you know, a pure strike, even with a chip, you're going to see a firm release way past the hole off the back of the green. There's not a lot of room for error here, so you want to make sure you are a really clean ball striker.
All right, so Callaway Triple Diamond, we'll see if it's any different. I imagine it'll be pretty close to the same. Okay. Again, a firm release. I don't get it, guys. I don't get it. It had a loud click, not as much as the Pro V1x. It actually had a much softer feel too. The feel is way softer, but again, maybe it was a slight mishit. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. No. Okay, a little bit of checkup there, but see again, is this gonna be the same thing where everything has to be perfect? If it's not a perfect strike, it doesn't have rotation, like, boy, that's inconsistent. I mean, that's one of the firmest rolls I've ever seen on a golf ball. I'm trying to keep everything nice and still. I'm trying to get a good strike on it. There it is. Nope, bye, see ya. Hardly any rotation on it. I mean, even that, that was a nice pure strike, a low spinner. Guys, it hit right here and still ended up there.
Yeah, I'm beginning to dread testing golf balls like this because they just don't have as much greenside checkup anymore. The main issue I run into is I do these tests, and I'll be real, a lot of people come from outside the channel and say, well, it's because you're putting greens. I mean, the reality is that we've had many golf balls, 2-piece, 3-piece, tour balls, the Srixon Z-Stars, remember those? I mean, like 90% spin on the meter. We've had golf balls this year that have tested phenomenally on the green. These just don't roll. The Pro V1 didn't roll. I mean, there's other tour balls that just have not gotten the checkup, and I don't know what it is, but when it comes to these little greenside chips, they don't check up, which the only thing that bothers me is a lot of you come to the channel and bang on the table and say, well, I'm willing to spend the extra money, and I'm willing to go and, you know, buy the Titleist or buy this or buy that because I need that greenside checkup, and then it's like I end up with this. I mean, you guys, you can see the firm release. There's no rotation on this ball at all. You know, I look for bass effect. I look for the ball to kind of bounce left and right or do something, and it's not. I mean, it looks like you're hitting a ball with no dimples almost half the time, and so I'm just disappointed. I don't know why a lot of golf balls have gone to this, but I don't really put this on Callaway or Titleist because a lot of them have gone this way. Meanwhile, I'm testing golf balls like the MaxFly Tri-Fly, and it has way more spin. It has way more bite. Go back and watch that review. The ball's jumping all over the place. So I'm not sure why that is, but it has become an apparent thing, and sorry to go on a rant with that, but I'm just a little disappointed because with the price, I was expecting a lot more, and based on what I had heard from the community feedback, I was expecting a lot more.
Ugh. Don't like that. Ball felt a little heavy. It definitely felt, there was some chug effect, so I might have mishit it, but still, just not my cup of tea. Okay, just a little slow. That would have went in, okay, so that's not bad. Okay.
Yeah, so here's the problem. You know, a couple years ago when I was testing golf balls, you know, back in 2021, 22, you know, putting a Titleist used to meant something. You know, it felt so much different than every other golf ball out there. It had this crisp butteriness that just glided in your hands, and it really felt phenomenal. It was unlike anything else on the market. And I don't know, like, you know, the Pro V1x left dash just doesn't have that. It's just kind of an average putting golf ball. It's just kind of dead in the hands. I mean, there's a little bit of firm press there, but it has a 9 out of 10 roll. It's just, it reminds me of a lot of other golf balls I test, and that's kind of a problem because, you know, Titleist used to dominate that. But like MaxFly now, you know, if you put a MaxFly ball, it feels much more like how Titleist used to than even Titleist does now. I don't know why this switch has happened. I know there's been a lot of experimentation over the last few years, but you know, it's okay. It's not great. It's not bad. It's just right there, kind of in the middle, and I just kind of expected more.
That felt a little heavy. Oh, hey, how about that? A little backdoor action. Okay, nice and soft, crisp. I like that. Ooh, look at that. 2 out of 2, baby. Oh, nice. I like it. Crispy, comes off with authority. Nice roll. 9 out of 10 again. It's close to a 10 out of 10. I got to run that back real quick. Wow, I love that. I love that. That's nice. I wouldn't call it buttery, but the sound is crispy. 5 out of 5, guys. Just for funsies, you know what I'm saying? Like, line us up, look at you guys. Not bad for a no look. All right, so blade putter. Now maybe Titleist will do a little bit different. You know, Titleist is more of an old style company, so maybe, you know, they're more the old school, so maybe this will have a better feel here. And it does. It has a much better feel. That was a 10 out of 10 roll. That was crispy, that was buttery, that was great. Oh, again, that was mishit and it still felt really good. I love that. Yeah, again, really nice. A little short. Okay, I'm used to the mallet.
Thank God, a better performance with the blade. Crispy, buttery, back to that Titleist form. I love it.
Oh, baby, buttery. Whew, that's nice. That is nice. Come on, one more time. Oh, and a nice little crispy click there. Ooh, Callaway still beats it. I'm sorry. Sorry, Titleist loyalists. But here's the thing. They're both excellent. They're both amazing. You know, if you have an old blade style putter, putting both of these golf balls is a joy. Oh, yeah, I mishit that one. Look at that. Forgave me. Still got to the hole. Excellent. Callaway does edge it out, like I said, but, I mean, they're both near perfect. I love that. All right, left dash. Let's see what we got here. Oh, crispy, smooth. I love that. That was very nice. Coming off the 58-degree wedge, I mean, that was like some Rice Krispie treats. Okay, little mishit. It got a little firmer, a little clickier, but it still glided. It was still smooth as butter. But I did notice the click there, so it does have some feedback, which is nice. I felt pretty good. Came off the club nice. It wasn't a pure strike, but it had a pretty nice feel. Okay, so that was a pretty bad mishit, and I felt it. I felt it in the hands for sure. Okay, well, I got to hit one pure here, so give me a second. There we go. Oh, yeah. That's very nice. When you hit it pure, it has a fantastic feel. 4 out of 5 on that. All right, 7-iron. This is where it could get interesting. You know, mid-iron, it's going to compress different, so let's see how the feel is there. Oh! Yeah, I had a feeling. Oh, that's nice. I hope you can hear that click there. It's a nice click. It's not obnoxious. It feels, you know, kind of medium in the hands. It lets you know feedback. I'm gonna try to hit this one just to see what that's like. Oh wow, still good actually. There's not much difference. So I like that a little bit better with the wedge. Now Titleist was excellent with the wedge, but I just like how it's a little more subdued on the sound. But other than that, they're very close. Excellent. Nice and solid. You know, it's not a fantastic feeling. I think I actually prefer the left dash on that, on pure hits, when it comes to the pitching wedge, but it's not bad. I mean, it does feel like it has a little bit of oomph behind it, but not nearly as good as that left dash did. This right here is gonna be the tiebreaker. Let's see what we got. Oh, now that feels tour-like. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Little click. Had some explosive power on there. Feels like a traditional tour ball right there, and it's not overbearing like the left dash was. Let's try and get a miss hit here. No, it's so much better. The triple diamond wins. It came down to a tiebreaker. That has a little bit more forgiveness on miss hits. You can feel it compress. It still has a thwack sound. It still comes off with authority. The left dash, the problem is if you did miss hit it, it rattled the hands and you could just see it. It wasn't coming off with the same type of quickness that this one is. So yeah, I mean, overall not bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I thought these were gonna be really firm, but actually for an average swing speed, they do kind of work, but I think the left dash just needs a little more than 95 mile an hour. All right, let's talk some data numbers now. Again, I have really high expectations, so we will see how both these golf balls fare. Let's start with the 50-yard pitch. Backspin RPM, let's go.
All right, guys, well, I told you I was going to keep that third spot open, but we're going to do something fun to start off with. I've actually added additional golf balls in there, you can tell. Starting from the top left, we have the Pro V1x left dash, then the Callaway triple diamond, the regular Pro V1x, the Strixon Z-Star diamond, the Mizuno Pro X, and the Sugar quad. Now, these are all golf balls that are like X model type golf balls, and with that, basically we can look across all the spin numbers and see what they did and, you know, how close they were. Now they're all green. These are all the best ones I've tested. So as you can see, 82.81 with the left dash, 82.30 with the Callaway triple diamond. That is excellent for both of them. It's off to a great start there. The launch angles are actually the lowest of all of them, which is kind of interesting as well. So I had a nice low penetrating flight, but it also spun and checked up really well. The Pro V1x is still the king this year when it comes to 50-yard pitch. It's 8,500, and that's still number one. The Strixon Z-Star Diamond, the Mizuno Tour X, and the Sugar Quad. Even though the Sugar Quad's not a great golf ball by any means, it still had some amazing 50-yard checkup, and so those are there. Now, if you're wondering like where the regular Pro V1 is, it didn't do so well. It was like 7,600 or something like that, so it's way back. And the Vice Pro Plus is another one that you guys wanted me to compare it to, and that one as well is around 7,600.
Both really respectable numbers and exactly what I would expect. You know, I was hoping for anything over 8,000. The fact that both of them are 8,200 or above, that's great. That's a really great spin number. That's exactly what I would expect with the type of golf balls these are. Yeah, let's go into the pitching wedge now.
All right, when we get into the pitching wedge, we're going to be using our third ball as comparison to the Strixon Z-Star Diamond. This is one we tested earlier this year, and as you can see, very, very good success with it. All green across the board, excellent, excellent spin number, but also excellent ball speed number and total distance. The only thing that was yellow was the total rollout, and that's because the spin was so high, so that doesn't even work against it. That's an amazing performance. So if we look at the left dash now, there's a lot of red there. This is where the firmness and the unforgiveness kind of came in. Now you'll notice it's not a ton. There's not a big dispersion between 121.1 and the triple diamond's 122.8, but because this year everything has been so close with the pitching wedge, that's the difference between green and red this year, so it's very close. So it's not the end of the world to be in the red on the pitching wedge here. Both of them have a low launch. Both of them have mid spin. I was just able to get a little bit better smash factor and overall ball speed with the Callaway triple diamond. So it does win this category compared to the left dash, but boy, not by much.
So both golf balls are pretty close there. My big surprise was actually the triple diamond being above average. Usually when it comes to these really firm, clickier, you know, high speed, low spin golf balls, traditionally, I see a huge loss in pitching wedge because I'm just not swinging the pitching wedge that fast. 78 mile an hour, it doesn't compress quite as well. And so I usually see a little bit of a drop off That's what I saw with the Pro V1x left dash. So my thinking was, okay, I'll probably see that with both, no big deal. That's what I went in expecting. But the fact that Callaway actually had above average numbers, that's off to a really, really, really good start. So I'm interested to see how the 7-iron is now, because if Callaway Triple Diamond can keep that up, this might be a really fantastic performance. Let's get into now the 7-iron.
All right, so when it comes to the 7-iron this year, we are going to be comparing it to the Mizuno Pro X. It's a golf ball that I tested earlier this year, and again, really solid performance with the 7-iron, so it's a great model to kind of compare it to. Looking at the Pro V1X left dash, you see some yellow in there. It had mid spin, it had mid ball speed. The smash factor was a little low again, but that's okay because the carry and the distance as far as yardage ended up really, really good. The launch was low, but this has a penetrating flight, and I think it's designed to get up in the air more. And so Titleist actually promises that it has a high launch. Now, I don't usually see that with tour balls. They always say high launch, and then they always end up low. And so I think it's more of an apex thing. But still, solid numbers. I expected with the lack of forgiveness this to be in the red, and it wasn't. So it did hold up. Looking at the Triple Diamond, again, green in the ball speed, green, a little bit better distance, a little bit better smash factor, a little bit better spin. Again, these two golf balls are extremely close, but the Triple Diamond does edge it out just a tiny, tiny bit. So just look at those. You can go back and forth there, take your time and look at the numbers and really see, the Mizuno Pro X, the reason it stands out so much is the spin number. Yeah, I didn't get as much distance, but the spin was, 400 RPM more, so that's going to have a lot more stopping power on the green, whereas the Pro V1X and the Callaway Triple Diamond actually have less. Now we're getting into these long irons where it's more about less spin and about distance, and you're starting to see that.
Again, both golf balls are actually above average here. I actually like what both of them are doing with the 7-iron. It's been a while since I've had a really good 7-iron performance. Both of these are above average. They have excellent distance numbers. The spin number will hold a green. It's not as high as I thought it would be. It is below average, so I know we're kind of getting into that middle range where the spin's probably it's starting to take a little off, because obviously the longer the club, the less spin these are going to have, because once you get to the driver, it's supposed to be the lowest spin. But still, regardless, I think it's interesting that the Callaway Triple Diamond is still doing so well. It's edging it out just a little bit. So great performance there. Let's get into the driver now and see who wins that battle. This is going to be the most important battle of any of the performance metrics, because that's what these golf balls are really for. And everyone who asks about them, everyone who talks about them, it's always the same thing. It has unmatched distance off the tee. So let's go ahead and see how that is. 97 mile an hour swing speed and 97, 98. And we are looking at.
All right, so we're going to compare the Vice Pro Plus as our third ball on this one, because time and time again, it just continues to be an excellent golf ball off the tee, no doubt about it. So the Pro V1X left dash, as you can see, all green there, green in the spin, green with the distance, smash factor excellent. What I'm noticing about the left dash, though, is that it has an extremely low flight. My average is 17.3 this year. 15.4 isn't going to get it done for a swing speed like me. I've shown and proven that if I get a 17.3 or 17 to 18, somewhere in that range, it ends up way better for me. So I think it's a little low for me, but I think you fast swingers and especially you advanced golfers are salivate at the mouth over this, because those are excellent numbers across the board. You are going to get some left and right bendability because that spin number is so low. But if you look at the Callaway Triple Diamond, on the other hand, that more fits my swing speed. Now, as far as which one's better, that just depends on what golfer you are. For me personally, though, I need a little bit higher launch, so the 16.6 is going to help me. The distances are all still great, and the spin number being a little higher is going to help me as well. And then the Vice Pro Plus is there just to kind of prove that you don't have to spend a ton of money to get the performance. Vice Pro Plus is $39.99 a dozen with the potential of $32 a dozen. And again, those numbers are neck and neck with everything we see on the board here. So I love this. This is a great chart. 3 great driver performances.
So when it comes to the driver performance, I mean, both of them are really, really good. And what's interesting is they end up almost at the same distance. The Callaway does beat it by a yard, but because Titleist had such low spin, even though the launch was so low, ridiculously low, way too low for me, I like that the fact it rolled out and ended up pretty close to the same. 245, both of those numbers are excellent when it comes to driver performance from what we've seen this year. But also keep in mind, it's become very obvious if you haven't figured it out to this point, the Pro V1X left dash is for extremely fast swingers. I mean, 110 plus. I mean, really, it is. I'm swinging almost 100, and yes, I'm able to get still a decent performance out of it, but you can just tell I'm not getting all of it. I'm just not. Yeah, it's not compressing right. Plus the forgiveness when you hit it off the toe. You know, if all these are robotic strikes and they're all right in the center, yeah, the Pro V1x might actually win out of those two, 100%. But you got to figure that forgiveness in there. And when I hit it off the toe, oh my goodness, hands rattling, looking behind, losing 20 yards. It was pretty bad. And so that's why the numbers weren't even higher. So you do have to factor that in. I think that you really need to be a faster, great ball striker to hit this golf ball, the Pro V1x. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into some accuracy and dispersion, and let's see how that is. Let's go over to the computer and see these charts.
All right, so starting with the left dash, and I got to be honest, this is probably one of the best ones I've seen this year. 50-yard pitch, accuracy, as you can see, it's right down the line. Just incredible when it comes to that accuracy. But when we get to the pitching wedge, that is the smallest circle I think I've seen this year. I mean, everything is right there near the hole. There's probably 7 out of 10 that are within a 5-foot radius of the hole. Like, that's just incredible. Excellent dispersion and accuracy when it comes to the pitching wedge. 7-iron, you know, is a little all over the place, but if you take the one pull I had and you just look at the other ones that are right there in the middle, that's pretty darn good. I mean, there's just no way of getting around it. That's excellent. And driver is kind of all over the fairway, and, you know, distance is definitely suffering, so you can tell. That's where my average golfer side started to show. You know, my lack of ability kind of started to show in that a little bit because I'm all over and there's a lot of distance disparity. So off the tee, you know, not my favorite thing, not my cup of tea per se, but everything else, you can't disregard it. That's excellent accuracy across the board. Moving into the triple diamond, I don't like it as much. Now, I will say I like the distance control a little better when it comes to the 50-yard pitch, but as far as accuracy-wise, there was at least 1 or 2 that kind of went offline. Pitching wedge, I mean, look at the difference. I mean, it's still not bad. It's not terrible, but it's just when you look and compare it to the left dash, holy cow, man. Like, there's like 2 or 3 within 5 feet, whereas the, you know, left dash had 7 or 8, so that's a huge difference disparity. Now, 7-iron I like a lot. 7-iron, if you take away a couple pulls I had, they also have, like, if you just look at that circle kind of right there in that middle right, there's a lot of golf balls that would be on the green and I'd have birdie opportunities with, so that's pretty good. Driver, basically the same. You know, I think the accuracy is a little bit better with the triple diamond, but the dispersion is still all over the place, so I just can't get over that pitching wedge with the left dash, so I think the left dash definitely wins when it comes to accuracy and just total dispersion, but, you know, Callaway triple diamond is, you know, average for the most part. I did like the 7-iron. It's hard for me to get good accuracy with the 7-iron a lot of the time, so I do give it credit there, but yeah, overall just not as good as I was hoping it would be, especially for the price point.
Okay, and last but not least, let's touch on some durability. Now again, you're paying a lot of money here. I expect durability to be top notch. Let's start with the Pro V1x left dash. Looking at it, yeah, it looks pretty darn good. There's a couple little tiny gashes here and there, a little couple marks. There's a little bit of indentions, but indentions don't mean anything. Okay, there's a mark there. You know what? This still looks really good. This is a 9 out of 10, absolutely. I mean, this golf ball still looks premium and brand new in a lot of places. There's just a couple scuffs here and there, and I think that that's an excellent durability. That's exactly what I would expect out of the Titleist plant for sure. Then we get into the Callaway, and the news is not as great, unfortunately. If you look at the front there, you can see a lot of abrasions. There's some deep cuts in there as well. If I feel it, ooh, it feels sandpapery. Ugh. Now here's actually a cut. You can see the cut on the triple track, which that's unfortunate. I wouldn't be able to putt this golf ball anymore. So, I mean, because that's on the triple track. Looking at the front on the other side, I mean, it's just mangled, guys. I mean, it's absolutely, it looks like it got put through the blender. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, this golf ball looks like an MMA fighter's face after a 12-round match. Like, I can't even distinguish it in certain parts anymore. I mean, if you feel the golf ball, it's basically like, ow, ooh, ow, ooh, ow, 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 ooh, ow, ow, ow. Like, it's just that's bad. I hold this to a really high standard. That's probably a 5 out of 10. You know, it really is. It's close to a 4 out of 10. I guess I'll be nice and give it a 5, but it's mangled, and I expect more for the price you pay. I really do. So in conclusion, should average golfers be using these golf balls? Probably not. You know, don't get me wrong. There was a couple times I was testing the triple diamond and I legit was like, have I found my new golf ball? You know, but then once I came back down to earth, I realized, okay, Nick, yes, the performance metrics were really good. 50-yard pitch is basically a tie between both of them. It's an excellent performance. But Callaway Triple Diamond, as far as I'm concerned, won the pitching wedge, won the 7-iron, and won the driver when it comes to my swing speed. I like that a lot. The numbers were great. Everything's in the positive, everything's in the green, but I can't ignore the fact that there is some forgiveness issues with these golf balls. And anytime you have a firm 4-piece golf ball, that's going to be the case. If you hit this golf ball perfect, absolutely. It does some wonderful things. But man, when you get out to a course and my pull hook comes up with my driver, that pull hook turns into a complete hurricane sideways level, it's very punishing on mishits. It just is. These golf balls are for guys who play a different game than us. They bend the ball left and right. Think of Bubba's shot at the Masters where he took a pitching wedge and did a full hook, around trees. That's what these golf balls are intended for. And so you got to remember, if you're trying to do that, it's great. But if you're just someone who's an average golfer and you accidentally close the face too much, you're going to see that hook. But now, you're going to be looking at the green and you're going to be going, oh no, oh no, oh no. It's that way. Now, as far as who the golf balls are for, when we start with the Titleist left dash, I'm going to say probably 5 handicap or lower. It could be 7 or 6 or 5, it's in that range. But the thing is this golf ball is so firm. It has to be hit perfect. If it's hit a little off center, it was stinging my hands. And so with that level of forgiveness, I think 5 handicap and lower is really going to be it. I think you need to be swinging at least 110 mile an hour to get the most out of it. I really do. And the reason I say that is because, surprising enough, this year I had a really good performance test with the Pro V1x. The Pro V1x, the regular model, is actually a pretty darn good model, and I've actually used it on the course a little bit. I like it. I know that's weird for me to say, guys. I know it's been a long 5 years, hasn't it? But this year I like the Pro V1x model, and so the thing is that there's no reason to use the firmer 4-piece clickier, insane ball speed, low spin model if you have that option for average swingers with the Pro V1x, the regular version. So I would just recommend, if you're really a Titleist, loyalist and you have to play a Titleist ball, the regular Pro V1x is probably going to be the best for average swingers. This one's for fast, good golfers, so stay away. When it comes to the Callaway Triple Diamond, though, I would say if you're an 8 handicap or lower, I found it had just a little bit more forgiveness. You still need to be a great golfer. You need to be able to bend it left and right. You need to be able to do, a variety of things with the golf ball. You need to be a good ball striker. Let's just be real. The main issue I have with it is the durability. I'll tell you what, if that durability hadn't been so low, this golf ball could have been top 20. It really could have. I know the value score isn't great, but the fact that you can get them under $50 a dozen if you buy 2, that would have helped it, and I think it would have been pretty close, really. I was really impressed with the Triple Diamond, but it's just not for me. I need a little bit more forgiveness. I'm not that good yet. Hopefully I'll be there. We're getting better every day, but I'm just not there yet. So, guys, as always, keep watching, keep saving, keep learning. Until next time.